we thought that genes were predetermined. But the thing is, new science is now telling us that although genes are predetermined, that life does not have to be predetermined. What's up? This is David, and today I want to talk to you about epigenetics, and how genes may or may not have a big impact in our lives. So, in the past, we used to believe that genes were kind of fixed. Like when we have a certain type of gene, then there's nothing we can do about it, right? Like for example, like if you have a gene for like a certain disease, there's nothing we can do about that gene because it's just given to us by nature, by chance, and we failed to win that lottery, pretty much. That's what we thought. We thought that genes were predetermined. But the thing is, new science is now telling us that although genes are predetermined, that life does not have to be predetermined, because what this mindset of having genes, it kind of is portraying this mindset of victimhood. It's telling us that we are victims to these certain genes and our certain circumstances that have been handed to us in life, but it's actually not. We actually have a choice to this. So newer studies, such as epigenetics, is a study of gene expression. And this is a very profound type of, a newer branch of science, because it is now showing us that we're not confined to our certain genes anymore, that we're not fixed, meaning that even though we have a certain gene, this gene, depending on our perception to the gene and our environment, pretty much, this gene may or may not be expressed. Even our entire lives, it might not be expressed. For example, if we have a certain gene that's allocated to like a certain disease, for example, we may not end up getting this disease our entire lives. This gene may not be expressed our entire lives if we live in an environment, or if we perceive the environment to be not stressful. Okay, so the study of epigenetics, it's telling us that genes can be expressed or they cannot be expressed. Genes can turn on or they may not be able to turn on our entire lives. And so what determines a majority of these types of gene expressions is our environment. Okay, our environment. So in this sense, nurture actually dictates nature in a way. But it's not just our environment, by the way, because we can be born into like a hectic environment, a very negative environment, but it's the person who perceives that environment that actually dictates whether the genes turn on or off. Meaning that even though somebody may live in a very negative environment, if they don't perceive that environment to be negative, and if they don't allow the stresses to affect them, then the genes may not be expressed, like the bad genes anyways. Like the good genes may be able to express themselves, okay? And so this is a huge different mindset from, what we used to believe, that we are victims to our genes and that we can't, change our lives because we are, fixated on a certain DNA that has been handed down to us from generation after generation. But it is now showing that we have control. We have absolute control over our lives. Okay, we can actually alter and create our own destiny. We're just not fixated to our circumstances and our genes anymore. Okay, so I talked about this in another video, but it all comes down to choice. We all have that choice, that perception. We can take a look at a certain event in our life, a certain experience, and we can perceive that as something negative, and then that will create stress in our lives. And then with stress, the bad genes, they'll turn on. Okay, and then a lot of us will, get diseases because of bad stresses in our lives. But we also have the choice to not see that same, negative event, that experience, as something bad. Instead, we can see that as maybe something of a learning experience, and we can see it in a positive light. And if we see something in a positive light, then we will not be stressed. We will not cause our body to be stressed. And so therefore the genes, the bad genes, will not be expressed, right? And so that's why I'm a big believer in meditation. Meditation helps us to calm ourselves, to be relaxed, and to not be stressed, to relieve that stress, to liberate us from that stress, so that the bad genes will not be expressed inside of us. Okay, so that's a big way, by the way, on being, stress-free in our lives, is to actively pursue meditation and being in the present moment, right? So I would urge anybody watching this to actually pick up the habit of meditating. And it's very simple. You can download an app, or you can go on YouTube and just search meditation, or you can simply do what I do. Is I simply just put on an alarm clock for 15 to 20 minutes, and I just sit there, just focusing on my breath and just being aware of my thoughts. All right, so that's a little video on epigenetics and how we are the creators of our destiny. We are the creators of our own life. We have the power to choose our perception at any given moment in time. So that's it for this video, and I'll catch you in